Interpersonal and Social Rhythm Therapy, or IS Interpersonal and Social Rhythm Therapy, or ISRT, and Family Focused Therapy, FFT. ISRT is an enhancement of interpersonal therapy designed specifically for people with bipolar disorder. So, kinocombine nito yung interpersonal therapy techniques with behavioral techniques para matulungan yung mga pasyente na ma-maintain yung routine nila sa pang-araw-araw nilang buhay such as eating, sleeping, and activity, as well as stability ng kanilang mga personal relationship. FFT is also designed to reduce interpersonal stress in people with bipolar disorder, particularly within the context of families. Patients and their families are educated about bipolar disorder and trained in communication and problem-solving skills. So these are the comparison of treatments. In the past few decades, several studies compared behavioral, cognitive behavioral, interpersonal, and drug therapies in the treatment of depressive disorders. Perhaps surprisingly, these therapies, despite their vast differences, appear to be about equally effective in treating most people with depression. Comparisons of treatment. First, although magkakaiba yung mga therapy na to, comparisons of treatment. So, although magkakaiba yung mga treatment and therapies, it appears na equally effective sila sa pag-treat ng people with depression. Next is, mas effective ang combination ng psychotherapy and drug therapy compared sa mga either therapy alone or sa drug lang. Number 3, maraming psychiatrists and psychologists ang nag-argue na ang may mga history ng recurrent depression should be kept on a maintenance level of therapy even after the depression is relieved. Usually, the maintenance therapy is a drug therapy and many people remain on antidepressant drugs for years after their initial episodes of depression have passed. Studies of behavioral therapy, interpersonal therapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy show that maintenance levels of these therapies, usually consisting of a once-a-month meetings with therapists, also can substantially reduce relapse rate. Number 4. Even when maintenance doses of psychotherapy are not available, people who have had any of the empirically supported psychotherapies appear to be less likely to relapse than those who have had only drug therapy. Interventions that specifically emphasize relapse prevention may be especially helpful for people at higher risk for depression relapse. For number 5, sa case ng mga merong bipolar disorder, combining drug treatment with the psychological therapies may reduce the rate at which patients stop taking their medication and may lead to more patients to achieve full remission of their symptoms compared to lithium treatment alone. So, gamit ng mga psychotherapy na to, mapapaalam sa mga pasyente na mahalaga pa rin talaga ang lithium treatment sa pag-cope sa impact ng disorder nila sa kanilang buhay. For number 6, in addition to treating mood disorders after their onset, another priority is preventing episodes before they emerge. Prevention programs can be effective in eliminating or delaying the onset of symptoms, especially if they are targeted at high-risk groups based on risk factors for depression. So, ang pag-uusapan naman natin dito ay suicide, and may minsan sa panghuling topic, ang topic namin ay suicide. At ang suicide ay isa sa mga top 3 leading causes of death worldwide among people ages 15 to 15 according sa World Health Organization. At around the world, mas marami daw ang namamatay sa suicide more than homicide. Na-associate kasi natin yung suicide with mood disorders, kaya itatakal namin dito sa huling section ng aming report. Next is suicide. So, yung suicide daw ay isa sa mga top 3 leading causes of death worldwide among people ages 15 to 14 according sa World Health Organization. At internationally, mas marami raw ang namamatay sa suicide more than sa homicide. Suicide is associated with mood disorders, kaya natakal namin sa ang next topic is suicide. So ang suicide ay isa sa mga top 3 leading causes of death worldwide among people ages 15 to 14 according sa World Health Organization, at internationally, mas marami ang namamatay sa suicide more than sa homicide. Kaya namin ito natakil is because ang suicide ay closely associated with mood disorders. Dahil according sa mga studies, the risk of suicide is increased in people with any ang suicide daw ay closely associated with mood disorders according sa mga studies. Kaya itatakal namin dito sa report namin. It is duly According sa mga studies, ang suicide daw ay closely associated with mood disorders dahil according daw sa studies, the risk of suicide is increased in people with any mental disorders. So ano nga ba ang suicide? According sa CDC, ang suicide ay death from injury, poisoning, or suffocation where there is evidence, either explicit or implicit, that the injury was self-inflicted and that the decedent intended to kill himself or herself. Pero sa mga statistics, medyo malabo pa rin kung matutukoy natin siyang suicide dahil may stigmatized pa kasi yung suicide. So according sa CDC, so we can distinguish complete suicides. We can distinguish complete suicides which ends in death, suicide attempts which may or may not end in death, suicide ideation is thinking or having ideas of suicide. So according to statistics and some studies, na mas common daw ang suicide attempt 20 more times as common as completed suicides, and more than 40,000 people kill themselves each year in the United States. As many as 3% of the population make a suicide attempt sometime in their lives, according to Nock and Kessler sa Western United States. More than 13% report having had suicidal thoughts at some time, according to Borges, Angst, Nock, Ruscio, and Kessler. It is estimated that 800,000 people around the globe It is estimated that 800,000 people around the globe die by suicide each year. So here are some graphs of suicide rates by the CDC noong 2017. On the left side, we can see the gender, age, and suicide and their correlation. So, yung nakita nyo naman sa graph, yung left female, sa right is male. Tapos yung age is yung nasa baba, nasa graphs of suicide rates by the CDC noong taong 2017. So nakita nyo naman sa left graph is yung pagkakaiwalay ng male at female. Makita rin natin yung pagkakaiwalay ng mga ages pero naka-in range form sila. So nakikita nyo naman na it's factually na mas mataas ang suicide, ang complete suicide. Graphs of suicide rates by the CDC noong taong 2017. Makita natin sa left graph ang gender, age, and suicide. Makita natin na hati ang male at female. Makita rin natin na naka-separate ang mga age range from 10 to 14, 15 to 24, 25 to 44, 45 to 64, 65 to 74, and 75 plus. And according sa graph na to, makikita natin na mas marami pa rin ang complete suicide sa male sa kahit anong taon. On the right side naman ng graph, makikita natin ang ethnic and cross-cultural differences. At makukuha natin sa graph na to na ang whites ay mas mataas ang rate ng suicide compared sa ibang races and ethnic groups. Suicide in children and adolescents. So yearly, 17% suicide in children and adolescents. Yearly, 17% of teenagers in the US seriously consider suicide. 15% devise a specific plan to attempt suicide. More than 8% attempt suicide. About 2% make a serious attempt that requires medical attention. Suicide in older adults. according to CDC, there has been a 15% suicide in older adults. According to CDC, there has been a 50% decline in suicide rates among adults over age 65 in the past few decades, yet older people still remain at relatively high risk. Suicide in college students. In a survey about suicide and depression among college students, 9% said they had thought about committing suicide since entering college, and 1% said they had attempted suicide while at college. Only 20% of the students who had contemplated suicide had sought any type of counseling, which is actually very regrettable. Non-suicidal self-injury. Some people repeatedly cut, burn, puncture, or otherwise significantly injure their skin with no intent to die, which is especially prevalent among adolescents compared to young adults and adults. Next is the historical perspectives on suicide. So, may ginawa kasing classic work on suicide si Emilia Durkheim na isang sociologist. And naka-focus siya sa mindsets, certain historical perspectives on suicide. Merong ginawang historical perspectives on suicide. In his classic work on suicide, si Emile Durkheim, nakafocus siya sa mindset certain societal conditions na nagkikreate ng mga nagpapatas ng risk for suicide. So, may prinapose siya na tatlong types of suicide. The first is egoistic suicide. May prinapose siya na 3 types of suicide. The first is egoistic suicide. So, itong egoistic suicide is ginagawa ng mga tao na na-alienate sa ibang tao. They feel lonely. Sila lang mag-isa. Wala silang katuwang sa buhay. Wala silang friends. And they feel like they live in a unsupportive world. Next is anomic suicide. Ito naman yung mga ginagawa ng mga tao na nakaka-experience ng severe disorientation dahil sa sobrang laki ng pagbabago ng kanilang relationship with society. Next is the altruistic suicide. This suicide are committed altruistic suicide. Last is altruistic suicide. Altruistic suicide is committed by people who believe that taking their life will benefit society. So, ang mga example nito is yung mga monks na sinusunog yung sarili nila. O kaya yung mga protesters na, di ba, may mga nababalita na sinusunog yung sarili nila para magkaroon ng atensyon sa isang bagay. Sa kanilang, gusto nilang psychological disorders and suicide. Depression increases the odds of a suicide attempt by approximately 6 times. Psychological disorders and suicide. So according to studies, approximately 6 times yung napapadagdag sa odds of suicide attempt ng depression. Samantalang yung bipolar disorder naman, napapataas niya yung odds ng suicide attempt by 7 times. Internationally, 1 sa 4 na tao with bipolar 1 disorder and 1 in every 5 people with bipolar 2 disorder has a history of suicide attempts. Kaya mostly closely associated yung mood disorders with suicide. Pero yung borderline personality disorder, substance abuse, and to a lesser extent anxiety disorders. Pero borderline personality disorder, substance abuse, and to a lesser extent anxiety disorders are also predictors of suicidal behavior. By far, yung pinakamagandang predictor ng future suicidal thoughts and behavior is yung dati nilang suicidal thoughts and behaviors, kung nagkaroon ba sila nun dati. Kaya mahalaga na ma-assess tong mga thoughts and behaviors na to at magkaroon ng intervention regardless of what other psychological problems they may be related to. Stressful life events and suicide. So, studies across cultures have shown that the risk of suicide is increased by a variety of stressful life events. So, one is abuse. Counted dito yung physical abuse, sexual abuse, kahit anong klaseng abuse. Minsan pa nga, nababawasan yung lifespan ng victim. Interpersonal loss. So, ito yung mga nawawalan ng mga mahal nila sa buhay, mga relatives nila, pamilya, and nawawalan sila ng will to live dahil dito. Next is perceived failure. So kapag mahalaga yung ginagawa nila and nag-fail sila doon, o kaya na judge sila dahil sa failure na yon, minsan nakakadagdag to sa pag nakakadagdag to sa suicidal rates. Next is economic hardship. So example nito, so next is economic hardship. So next is economic hardship. Kunwari biglang nawalan ng trabaho yung isang tao and sobrang tagal niya na sa trabaho na yon at biglaan. So next is economic hardship. Example is may isang lalaki na sobrang tagal niya na sa trabaho na yon at bigla na lang siyang na-fire for some reason. Ito lang yung ginagawa niya buong buhay niya at ngayon na-fire na siya noon. Nakakadagdag to sa risk of suicide. Next is physical illness. Next is physical illness. So yung may mga physical illness katulad ng mga next is physical illness. Katulad na to yung may mga so next is physical illness. Isa sa pinakamalaking example is yung may mga physical illness nung bata pa lang sila hanggang sa paglaki nila, o kaya may mga epilepsy, yung medyo mas need nila ng attention sa illness na yun, dahil sa illness na yon. At yung mga nagpapadagdag ng risk of suicide dahil iniisip nila na baka burden lang sila. So next is suicide contagion. Suicide cluster is when two or more suicides or attempted suicides are non-randomly bunched together in a space or time, such as a series of suicide attempts in the same high school or a series of completed suicides in response to the suicide of a celebrity. Suicide clusters seem to occur primarily among adolescents. When looking for the reason of suicide clustering, some theorists have examined the role of the media in suicide contagion. So, ayun. Medyo mas napapalala. So, according sa role nga ng media, lalo na ngayon na mas nalakas yung technology, mas madaling kumalat yung balita, mas napapataas daw yung suicide contagion. Factors in suicide. Personality and cognitive factors. So, yung sa personality, yung tinutukoy dito, generally, is yung impulsivity or yung pagiging papasok. Ito yung pag-act niya sa kagustuhan niya. Factors in suicide. Personality and cognitive factors. So, yung impulsivity, yung personality characteristic. Factors in suicide. Personality and cognitive factors. So, yung isa sa most kilalang personality factor is yung impulsivity or yung kapusukan ng isang tao sa paggawa ng mga bagay. Kasi, minsan, pwede naman kasing i-inhibit yung kagustuhan na yon kapag appropriate. Pero may mga tao kasing gawa lang ng gawa kahit hindi naman appropriate siya. Sa cognitive naman, yung hopelessness, which is natalakay na before, yung learned hopelessness, yung hopelessness. For the cognitive factor is the hopelessness. Ito yung feeling na yung future ay for the cognitive factor, yung hopelessness is yung kawalan ng for the cognitive factor, yung cognitive variable na pinaka-consistent sa pag-predict ng suicide is yung hopelessness or yung kawalan ng pag-asa sa buhay. Dahil nga wala silang pag-asa sa buhay at iniisip nila na bleak at iniisip nila na wala nang paraan para mapaganda yung buhay, mas nataas yung kanilang suicidal rate. Other ter- Other cognitive factors in suicide include cognitive rigidity, rumination, perfectionism, and poor problem solving. For biological factors naman, kasama dito yung mga genetic predisposition o kaya genetic factors and neurotransmitter dysfunction. Sabi nga nung kanina na ang depression is natakbo sa pamilya. Many studies have found a link in between suicide and low levels of neurotransmitter serotonin. Treatment and prevention. Treatment and prevention. First one is crisis intervention programs. Ito yung mga programa para mapabawas ang suicide. So, sa community, ito yung mga suicide hotlines, walk-in clinics, suicide prevention centers. Tapos, kapag hindi na kaya ng mga ganon, for long term naman, kailangan na ng mental health specialist. Next naman is yung medication. So, itong mga medication na to, mga natalakay na to kanina, which is yung lithium and selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Next naman is therapy. So, psychological therapy is designed to treat depression such as dialectical behavior therapy or DBT, which was developed to treat people with borderline personality disorders, which is mas nagpre-frequent mas psychological therapy is designed to treat this. For psychological therapies naman, nandito yung dialectical behavior therapy or DBT and CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy. Yung CBT, nagpapareduce siya ng suicidal thoughts and behaviors, samantalang yung DBT naman, naka-develop siya to treat people with borderline personality disorder who frequently attempt suicide. Yung last na treatment and prevention, yung last or yung para sa pinaka kailangan na talaga, ito yung pagpapa-hospitalize sa kanila if they agree. Pero kung hindi sila nag-agree pero kailangan na talaga nila, pwede sila ma-involuntarily hospitalized for a short period of time. Usually, for 3 days lang naman to. So, hindi nasama sa slide is yung guns and suicide. Sa US to talamak. Sa US to mas nakaka-relate dahil meron silang sa US to mas nakaka-apply kasi ang hindi nasama sa slide is yung guns and suicide. So mas nag-a-apply to sa Amerika dahil sa kanilang Second Amendment or yung right nila na mag-bear of arms. Sa atin din, merong bumalita na pinapayagan ng sa Pilipinas naman may kakapasa lang na bill kung saan pwede na magdala ang mga civilian ng semi-automatic rifle. So, baka mag-apply na rin to. So, ang guns at suicide, mas napapatas yung suicidal rates ng may mga barel na matagal na. Sa Pilipinas naman, baka mag-apply na sa atin to dahil mayroon nang naipasang batas na pwede nang magdala ang civilian ng mga semi-automatic rifle. Pero generally kasi, mas nataas ang suicidal rate ng mga may barel. Lalo na yung mga matagal nang may-ari ng mga barel. So, compared kasi sa suicide, ibang klase ng suicide, ang baril kasi, mabilis lang siya makapatay. at magamit. Kaya mas napapataas nito ang risk of suicides kung saan may kung saan mas napapadali nito ang paggawa kung saan mas napapadali nito ang paggawa kung saan mas napapadali nito ang pag-commit ng suicide. Next, what to do if a friend is suicidal? So according sa Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, a patient-run advocacy group makes the following suggestion in suicide and depressive illness. So 1. Take the person seriously. 2. Get help. So tumawag ka sa mga suicidal hotline o kaya kung may therapy siya. What to do if a friend is suicidal? So gumawa yung the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance ng mga suggestion sa suicide and depressive illness. So 1. Take the person seriously. So syempre kailangan mong i-take yung tao. Number 1. Take the person seriously. So syempre yung mga karamihan 1. Take the person seriously. So karamihan ng mga nagsusuicide is bago sila mag-suicide, kino-communicate nila sa mga kakilala nila or sa ibang tao bago nila gawin yon. And minsan kasi hindi natatake seriously yung mga sinasabi nila, yung mga saloobin nila. Number 2, get help. Kung meron siyang therapist, kailangan mong tawagan yon. O kaya kung wala naman, pwede kang tumawag sa mga suicide hotline o kaya sa mga otoridad na kakakibat nito. Next is express concern. Siyempre, kailangan mo magkaroon ng empathy sa taong yon. Kailangan mo alamin kung bakit siya suicidal. Next is pay attention. Makinig kang mabuti. Kailangan mong ipakita na nasa iyo yung attention niya. Number 4, pay attention. So listen closely, maintain eye contact, and use body language to indicate that you are attending to everything that person says. Number 5, ask direct questions about whether the person has a plan for suicide and if so, what the plan is. Number 6, acknowledge the person's feeling in a non-judgmental way. Number 7, reassure that person that things can be better. So, i-emphasize mo talaga na yung suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem na what if pwede naman palang idaan sa ibang bagay, pwede naman nating masolusyonan yung problema na to. Number 8, don't promise confidentiality. You need the freedom to contact mental health professionals and tell them precisely what is going on. Number 9, make sure guns, old medications, and other means of self-harm are not available. Number 10, if possible, don't leave that person alone until they are in the hands of a professional. So, pwedeng samahan mo siya sa emergency room kung kailangan, pero wag mo talaga siyang hihiwalayan or hayaang mag-isa. Kung napa-hospital man siya or nag-receive ng ibang treatment, mag-follow up ka para pakita mo kung paano mo siya pahalagahan para hindi siya kung siya naman is napa-hospital or naka-receive ng treatment, pakita mo na may paki ka sa kanya. Mag-follow up ka, kamustahin mo siya. Number 11, take care of yourself. Dahil pag nakipag-interact ka sa taong suicidal, talagang stressful siya dahil hindi mo alam kung ano yung susunod niyang gawin and disturbing yung pakikipag-usap na to. Number 11, take care of yourself. Interacting with a person who is suicidal can be extremely stressful and disturbing. Talk with someone you trust about it, perhaps a friend, family member, or counselor. particularly if you worry about how you handle the situation or that you will find yourself in that situation again. For the last slide, so sa ating topic na mood disorders and suicide, makikita naman natin na yung concept. So sa topic nating mood disorders and suicide, makikita naman natin na naapektuhan ang buong pagkatao. So sa ating topic, makikita natin na maapektuhan ng buong tao ang so sa topic natin, makikita natin na yung mood disorders nakaka-affect siya sa buong pagkatao ng isang tao. Yung depression and mania, naka-involve siya sa lahat ng aspect ng ating yung depression and mania, involved siya sa changes ng Depression and mania involve changes in every aspect of function including biology, cognitions, personality, social skills, and relationships. So, iba sa mga pagbabago na to can be caused by depression or mania. Samantalang yung iba naman, sila yung consequence nito. So, the fact na yung mood disorders, nakaka-apekto siya sa buong pagkatao, pinapakita nito yung connections among biology, cognitions, personality, and social interactions. Makikita natin na intertwined tong mga to, lahat ng to. So, makikita natin na intertwined lahat ng aspect na to. So, dapat talaga lahat ng aspect is pagtuunan natin ng pansin dahil kahit sa isang area lang maprovoke yung isang tao, maaring magulo yung buong sistema niya. On the right side, makikita natin ang isang integrated model ng depression. So, makita natin yung genetic factors, nagre-result siya sa personality characteristics that increase stress response and exposure to stressors such as neuroticism, or yung genetic factors nagre-result siya sa dysfunction in neurotransmitter and neuroendocrine systems. And itong dalawang resulta na to, napupunta siya sa heightened vulnerability to stress, which will encounter new stressors na nagpapastress sa tao na mag-result sa depression. Ayun lang ang aming report. Thank you.